Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of the Funky Anime Podcast.
Please, God, also let it be the last one.
God, if it is the last one, I am so hyped for it. Okay, so...
I'll be honest, I completely forgot what the F stood for in...
Funky.
Yeah.
Funky Anime Podcast. FAP.
A month later, and now I know. Yeah. Thank you.
Good job, Pino. I'm really glad that you're really bringing it together. Okay, so I'm Chuck. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitch. Either Upchucked or Upchucked Gaming. You'll find me there.
I am Garbalax, unfortunately. You can find me on Twitter and shit. I'm just I don't know. Google Garbalax. I'm sure you'll find something.
And I'm Pino, or how?
Pino.
Actually, no. I'm just Pino or Piney. I'll probably change my handles to that eventually. But you can find me on Twitter, I guess, on YouTube, and maybe on Twitch. Maybe.
Yeah, well, that was a fun intro. That was bad. Okay.
Scratching that off my to-do list.
Implying that any of them aren't.
Yeah, for sure. But so this podcast you've probably never heard of before because this is the first episode, and
unless you're gangster.
From it, thank you.
We're going back in time.
Yeah, back to the year 1987, but not yet, because this podcast is all about watching anime, and then we're gonna talk about it because it's good. We're gonna watch one series per podcast, but not an entire series, just like a part or a season.
Yeah, because specifically like for this, I'm sure it's in the title. It's pretty obvious. We're doing JoJo Part 1, and like JoJo Part 2 will be a separate thing. And like if we do like,
if we ever get to JoJo Part 3,
yeah,
God.
Oh no,
we'll do that one in one. There's no reason splitting that up further like Araki did.
Oh God, that's trash. Okay, so
I like JoJo.
We are
Part
doing
3,
JoJo Part 1
2.
this week. God, Pino.
3.2.
3.2 birthday sleep. Okay,
it's a thing. Okay.
Okay, so we are doing JoJo because it is the best anime ever created, for sure. I'm gonna put this down as fact now. You can quote me, episode 1, FAP cast, and
let me write that quote
I'll bring
down.
it to my grave. It's really good.
I'll see you in court.
Yeah. Okay.
And the way we do the rotation, the reason we're doing JoJo first is because it's one we all agreed on. We all thought, hey, it'd be good to do JoJo first. And then we'll do a rotation. So, like, next it'll be Chuck who picks
Next it'll be me, yeah.
one. And then Pino will pick one, and then I will pick one.
I thought
You'll
you were
have to
going
just stay in that
going
rotation.
last.
You're gonna have to stay till the end of the episode to find out what we're gonna be watching next. Whoa!
Or you could just skip, because you can just do that.
No, fuck that.
No, they
You have
can't.
to listen to the entire thing of rambling. Okay, so there's warnings. We're gonna be spoiling part 1 of JoJo. Obviously, we kind
Not
of
like
have
there's
to talk
much to
about it.
spoil.
That's true.
Here we go, just as usual.
And so it begins.
And so begins the sass of Mr. Grabalax.
Because I hate part 1. Go on,
I know-
continue.
Okay.
We're not gonna get into this yet.
Okay, so
These are some fighting words.
What we're watching is the first 9 episodes of the first season of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure TV show, originally released in 2012. We picked this all, like we said, because it's a great series.
We all love JoJo.
We all love JoJo, and it's like a huge part of all of our humor. Like, we always make shitty JoJo jokes all the time, and it makes me giggle. And it's pretty great. And then, spoiler warning again. And then, but honestly, if you don't want to watch this first JoJo, you probably don't. You could probably just listen to the...
It's 9 episodes. Give it a shot.
Yeah, okay. So let's get some background on this. I did some research, which is pretty sweet. It's pretty epic. And so, JoJo Part 1 is called Phantom Blood, and it was originally a manga released in the Weekly Shonen Jump in 1987.
And if you don't know,
44
Shonen
chapters.
Jump is like what births most big shows like
anime,
My Hero
yeah.
Academia, Dragon Ball Z,
yeah.
Naruto, One Piece, like all that stuff started in
fuck.
Shonen Jump.
Okay, and like Shonen Jump essentially is just is like big manga, and it publishes every week, obviously, because it's called Weekly Shonen Jump, and it just gets better and makes manga and just releases chapters every week.
I didn't know that.
Beyond that, well, see, you learn something new every day, Pino.
Wow, even Pino's learning something.
And
I like
the
to learn.
author, Araki, has been making JoJo since 1987 and is currently on Part 8, which is now being published through Ultra Jump. Same thing as Shonen Jump, just a different kind of
It's Ultra.
They just have two separate
It's just
ones
Ultra.
now. Yeah, it's Plus Ultra. So
Plus Ultra. Okay, yeah.
what we're going to be watching is actually the TV anime, which was produced by David Productions. There was actually a film adaptation in 2000
the OVA.
and 2009 for part 1, which is very not known. It was released, I think.
It's bad. That's why
For,
it's not
it's
known.
really bad. It's really not good. And I have it written on my notes. We're not watching this because it is not that good and leaves out a lot, and a lot is to be desired. So
Yes.
okay.
Could not agree more.
Not enough Muda.
Yeah, there's very little Muda to be had. So, basically, to summarize the overarching thing, the story follows Jonathan Joestar, a little boy who grows up with his quote-unquote evil adopted brother Dio, and they fight a lot because they have clashing personalities and they're jerks. And the first couple of little fights were when they were about 12, according to the wiki, and when they were about
12?
20.
Good
Yeah, 12
Lord.
the first time, and then they were 20 the others.
They're
Which is
already,
fucking
They were
already
just babies.
They,
Yeah, they were
develop-
small.
they have more body than I did when I was 20.
I feel kind of sad.
Considering
that-
like the muscles in part 3, like I think just everything in the JoJo universe is just massive.
There's just
I wish I was.
tire implants everywhere. Just tires on your shoulders, tires on your
Yeah.
knees, everywhere.
Yeah, if you're not buff enough, then you're not worth watching. Obviously.
Oh, feels
So
bad.
yes, that's like brief background information. We also have the actual wiki open if we want to look at anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just because apparently my research probably won't be enough. But okay, so we're gonna start into the actual review of the show. We're like 8 minutes in, and we're actually now talking about it. God, we are not good.
We're
at
having a
this.
good time. I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time.
I'm a sleepy boy. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the OP and ED for this first part.
Mm-hmm.
And this first one was
Ooh.
it's called Jojo Sonochi no Sadame by
I can't not hear the song. That's
Yeah.
like
I know,
how good
I
of an
know.
opening it is.
I
Like,
cannot
can't
just hear-
Sonochi no Sarame.
yeah, and that title actually translates to Jojo Destiny of That Blood. So it brings in Phantom Blood, and it brings in kind of the blood theme throughout the actual show.
Interesting.
And fun fact, this song peaked at 19 on the Billboard's Japan Top 100.
19.
So you could hear this on the fucking radio.
So like you and I were talking about this the other day, Chuck, and
Yeah.
like that is just fascinating to me that like that's how their culture goes to where like you could just turn on the radio and there's like fucking anime openings or whatever
It
on the
would make me
radio.
so happy, dude.
Because
So,
it's a great song. Like it is legitimately a great piece of music. Like music is like my main thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah,
And-
if you probably hear the OP for this podcast and the ED later, it's probably by Grubbelax. It's probably him, most likely. If not, I'll cut this out.
It might be a
But
remix or something.
Well, yeah, but
We'll
it's
figure it
by
out.
him, so we don't have like any of the assets done, but that's okay. Yeah, so like
At the
Pino, do
time
you
that
have-
this airs. Oh, never mind.
okay. Like anything else you want to say about it? It's just a really fucking good song.
Just listen to it all the time in the car. I
Yeah.
yell JoJo for the longest amount of time that I can.
Yeah,
I think JoJo's like the top word I've used this year.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like up
I
there.
think so. I think you're right.
it's pretty much there.
Up there next to the
JoJo.
word goal.
JoJo.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
got
the
it.
ending. We have not even brought up
No,
the legendary
no.
ending
No,
song.
believe me, I got you. I had this written. I was just making sure we got all the good stuff talked about the first part because we're never going back because the ED for this show is fucking roundabout by Yes. One of the
Wonderful.
best songs you'll ever hear.
And I think we're all classic rock fans, right?
Oh,
So like the
abso-fucking-lutely.
JoJo
It's so
soundtrack
good.
is like
It's my bread and butter.
It's like
dude.
Bill
It's
Frost,
my
yeah,
acid
yeah.
trip. What? Do you not
But
see
it-
those stitches they have on the web? Like it's just like the entire like end credit scene, like all the arts, and it's wonderful. It's just like
Yeah.
I just can't stop.
It's so bueno.
I just can't.
But like, and this is like, it's weird comparatively when you're watching other anime, just because this is a fucking classic rock song from America,
Mm-hmm.
and you're hearing it at the end of your fucking Muscle Man anime that you've been watching
it's such a
about
rockin'
vampire
tune.
boy. It's so good, and it works so well. with the outro where the arrow, the to be continued meme. What a great meme that is. And
Yeah,
that,
there's
and
a reason it's a meme, and that's because it's like it's so
'cause it
good,
works.
and like the execution in the actual show is so great. You know,
for sure.
but that's why it's gotten into like big memedom, and like why Jojokes are a big thing.
Yeah.
Because like
The
so
elf.
much about the show is memeable, and we'll get into that more later.
This is
God,
this is a
the whole
term we talk
soundtrack,
about.
all the parts, except opening 3 and 4. But
Opening 3 is good. You don't like it. Opening
I don't
4
like
is
it
also
because
I
I
like
don't
3.
like.
Okay, whenever we get to part 3 in 4 years, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, because they're
Opening
they're,
3 still
they're pretty
sucks.
good. No, they're
Opening
good.
3 is
Opening
good.
3
Fuck
is
you.
good.
Okay.
Chase,
one thing I wanna
Chase is
say
bad.
about-
Chase is bad.
You are fucking
Oh,
wrong. I will
Chase
okay,
is
fight
the
you to
guys,
the death.
worst song.
Guys, stop it, please. We haven't even released the first episode of the podcast yet. We can start fighting now. Like, come on.
I'm ready. I'm
Drama
ready.
on
Fists
the
are out.
podcast?
Drama?
I'm ready to go.
Does
Death by
Chase
Jojo.
is good
Death-
song?
Okay. Okay, so like the music is always good, and especially all the themes within it. Most of them's actually pretty
Yeah, that's-
subdued in this part.
Well, I would say that like it's really well done in this part, because like the thing you brought up earlier that I didn't even realize, I didn't say anything, but like how the opening like translates to something related to blood.
Oh.
Everything is like
Okay.
directly related within the show, which is
Yeah.
pretty clever. But I mean, this is a very near and dear manga to a lot of people in Japan's
Oh,
hearts. So David
no,
Productions
like-
wanted to kill it, and they did.
For sure.
They absolutely
Like,
did.
I've read all the JoJo manga. I'm up to date with part 8 right now, and I think I'll talk a little bit about the OP more, because I was thinking more of the song at first, but now thinking about the actual OP.
And the 3D
At the
models
intro,
are really cool.
Oh, the 3D models are
Best
fucking
part.
Another
phenomenal.
3D modeled show I
Yeah.
won't talk about that we'll do eventually, but
Yeah.
Fire Emblem.
No,
Fire
Live-
Emblem.
No.
Shadows of Valentia.
No, Love Live, dude. My favorite 3D.
Emblem.
Okay. No, but like the intro itself, like the first, like probably 5 seconds is flipping through manga panels from JoJo Part 7. Or maybe, I
thought
don't
it
know
was
if
No,
they
it
had.
has
was-
all the JoJos.
all the
Did it have,
JoJos,
did it
yeah.
have Part 8 too?
I'm gonna
I
look
want to
right
say
now.
it's
Did
only
it-
up to Jolene.
I think it's only up to. Is it up to Jolene? I thought it hit Steel Ball Run. I thought it hit Johnny.
I think it goes up
I-
to part 6. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
'cause
see.
the year
Hold on.
this was
I'm
released
looking
was
at it
like
right
what?
now.
But while he's
2010?
looking it up, like throughout the actual OP itself, you see a lot of different like scenes that are super iconic from the manga. Like,
Yeah, that's
like-
Jolene for sure.
so it's just Jolene, not Johnny.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I
it
see Josuke. I see Star Platinum. I see Jotaro.
Yeah, so I guess it's Part 6.
It has
Because they
a-
wouldn't
well, no,
show
the-
Giorgino, because Giorgino's spoilers Dio's kid. But I'll cut that out if I really feel like it, but I probably won't. Okay.
Did you say something?
No, I didn't. Okay, Part
Okay.
5 is a myth. Anyway, so it just like shows all these iconic pictures, like Dio walking up the wall with the text around him, and with like Erin's face going like ooh, and then the kiss, and you know all the good shit. Like it's phenomenal, and then it actually cuts through different pieces of the manga, which like you don't get much of appreciation. Like it looks fantastic, but like
and it
for
goes
me-
by so fast.
Oh,
You don't
yeah,
even
you
realize
don't-
it until like you've caught up on JoJo, and like if you were to watch part 1 again, like why on God's green earth would you? But you
Okay,
can pick up on
okay,
those
fuck
things.
you.
Okay.
Okay, fuck you. I've watched this way too many times. Like I know this. I know this entire series front and back. But
Welcome to I just want to start wars to make
I
you
know
angry.
you. God, this is gonna be like the theme of this entire podcast forever. You're gonna be like the devil's advocate for this, aren't you?
I
Stop
absolutely.
vaping. God damn it.
God damn it!
Don't vape while we're trying to record a fucking podcast, you bitch.
I was trying to go away from the mic so you wouldn't.
Oh,
hear.
I could hear it, dude. Anyway, and it's just like reading through the manga, you're like, hey, I remember that. I remember seeing that. And it's really cool to see that. Especially as a person who's read the manga. And it was like, how long was it? It was like, I'm doing the math in my head, like 30 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
just about.
long. Yeah,
Since-
it's like right on 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years when this was made. So it's iconic for
They
a
should've-
lot of people.
They should have kept
It's-
the old art style.
Okay, do not say that. I hate to
Yeah.
break it to you, but there's Araki changes his art style a lot in JoJo, like because he's been drawing that shit for 30 years. But like
Yeah.
even then, I'm like, Whew, we don't
And
need
a
to
lot
see
of
that.
people, a lot of JoJo fans will tell you to watch the anime for at least the first 3 parts because the art style in the anime is a lot more consistent and better.
Oh, for sure.
And like the tone is really clear and defined, unlike in the manga where everything's kind of a clusterfuck because Rocky was still trying to like kind of find his way.
He's still trying to find his way in part 8, dude. Like I hate to. He just changes whenever he fucking feels like.
And doesn't
it. So,
like part 7 like retcon just everything?
Oh no, for sure, and it makes me kind of pissed. Well, it's at the end of part 6 that retcons, and then part 7 gets set up because of that. But read it. I'm not going to spoil it because
was JoJo a mistake? Question mark.
No, JoJo was not a mistake. I can confirm that like 100%. But we've kind of gone off topic here. But so do you want to?
I was actually transitioning.
Yeah. Then transition, my boy.
That was it. I was just wanting to say that, like...
Congratulations.
Well, guys, guess what? We're going to talk about the plot now.
Oh, the plot's actually pretty good. Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Sounds weird from
I'm really
from a
excited
JoJo
to
Part
get
1
to where-
hater.
Wait,
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is just like almost all the characters are boring, and we'll get into that in a moment. But
Okay, so the plot essentially...
you're wrong.
Just... The plot, like I said before...
I'm ready to
revolves
start
around-
screaming.
God, don't stream. The plot revolves around Jonathan Joestar, the heir to the Joestar families, like riches. It's Jojo lives a very extravagant life, and on the other side of the spectrum, Dio Brando, he lives
comes
a
from,
fucking
like, a shit family.
shitstorm. Like his dad's a drunkard. His dad basically drove his mother to kill her, like just die, and then Dio's a smart boy though, and then his dad dies, and then he spits on his grave, and the spit looks like bird poop. That always pisses me off. I'm like, that doesn't look like spit.
David
But anyway.
Productions, what are you doing?
Well, this is their
That's
first
a drunkard
episode.
spit, my friend.
That's true, actually. Was he drinking? I don't think he was drinking. At
Probably.
that.
I bet he was
No, he
drinking till
wasn't.
his final breath.
True, but so it worked, and then
And then they kind of adopt Dio, and then
Yeah.
Dio's
then
kind
they-
of like the
and-
external like stepbrother, and they don't get along because they
Dio's
come from different
a
worlds.
fucking dick.
Yeah, Dio is a huge asshole, and he's by far the only interesting character in
That's
this part.
We'll talk about that later. But so like Dio just makes Jojo's life hell. He like kicks the fuck out of his dog, twists his
And then
arm
eventually,
around,
like,
boxes him. But then, wait, what were you saying?
Jonathan's dad, like, eventually is, like, ashamed, and there's, like, one specific scene where he's like, wow, look at Dio, look at
You
how...
should be
Oh
like
yeah.
Dio.
I haven't-
That was the fucking teaching one where he has his little little stick thing that wiggles around, and it's like the best animated part of like that the entire show, and it makes me feel like really uncomfortable. But I'm like, wow, this is a really well animated wing.
David Productions did a great job.
Oh, for sure. And then I guess that's like that covers the basics, and then they fight as kids, and then they're like, okay, let's wait for 7 years.
Time
and
skip.
Yeah.
and be chill, and then they're chill, but then they still hated each other. Oh wait, fuck! I skipped one of the most important parts because you guys fucked me over. Is that
Arena.
Jojo meets Arena, who's like
Arena.
girlfriend, but then Dio kisses Arena,
Brando.
and it
That's-
was Dio.
This is where the glorious meme comes from.
It's a good one. And then after that, they like just do
Jojo, steal your girl.
Mr. Jojo Celia girl, and then they go to
Oh.
then they jump cut 7 years later because they're too lazy to show plot development. Good job, Araki. And then after that we go to what would you call it? So they're about 20. They're like gonna graduate high school, I think, which is fucking weird because they're 20.
Something like that, yeah.
They
They're
look
playing like
like-
rugby.
Yeah,
They
they're
look like
playing
college
rugby,
students.
And then they're
Did you see those arms?
Their arms were that big when they were fucking 12. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a good point, actually.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Okay,
They're just
face the
massive
food.
boys.
Yeah, and then Dio is essentially killing George Joestar,
Slowly
Jonathan's
poisoning him.
daddy, and then he goes to Ogre Street. Best name, Iraqi. Good job.
Ogre Street.
And they meet the one, the only, the best character in this part, Speedwagon.
That's debatable, but
That's why we're gonna debate it in a bit. And so they meet.
I think you mean
that,
Robert A-E-O-U.
Yeah, Robert
sometimes
Robert
Y.
E.O. Speedwagon. We'll talk about that in a sec too. And essentially, they figure it out that Dio's killing the dad, and then Dio's like, "Oh boy, I'm gonna put a mask on my face," and then dies. But then doesn't die.
Wow, we really abridged
vampire.
this. We abridged this.
Vampire. He kills Jonathan's dad. It's this whole crazy thing.
Yeah,
you know.
watch it.
It's a very abridged version
Record
right
scratch.
now. I feel like we missed.
Record scratch. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
But you're wondering why these bullets are piercing my body right now, and I'm not dead.
And then, let's see. After that, they have a big old fight in the mansion that's burning down. Dio walks up a wall.
And that
Dio
scene
gets
is
impaled.
fucking awesome.
It's so fucking. That's like such a great part. And then Dio gets impaled by an angel.
But
and
before
then,
that, he says, "Goodbye, Jojo."
Goodbye, Jojo. God, that's so stupid.
It's the best.
And then that's a reference to the Beatles song "Get Back." It's a good one.
Great.
There's a lot of music references.
Yeah,
in
we'll talk
JoJo.
about that when we go to the characters and their names
God.
and all that. Yeah, it's got to be a fucking lot. And then, so they fight, and then Jojo, Speedwagon, and Erina meet Baron Zeppeli, who teaches them the ways of Hamon, and he punched a frog.
It also
But
teaches
didn't.
him how to pick up a rock with his hand.
And he drops a salt for no reason and sneezes for no reason and falls over.
This is where it's where the glorious Hamon appears, the thing that I missed sorely in the other parts.
Well,
Hamon.
yeah. Well, they do it in part 1 and 2, and then Araki's like, I think I've done everything,
There's
so I'm gonna
a little
retcon
bit
it.
of Hamon in part 3. Just
I mean,
a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's talk about that on a later day. But so then after that they go and find Dio, and then they fight, and then spoilers, Zeppeli dies, and then we meet the more Hamon warriors, and then Dyer dies, who's one of the Hamon warriors again, and then Jonathan quote unquote kills Dio, but not really. He just cuts off his head, and then the evil Asian man's like, "Ooh, okay, I'm gonna take him on a ship instead." It's true. You can't even say it's false. That's what he looks like. That's his like entire character arc. And then he's in a casket, and then he burns down the ship that Erina and Jojo are on, and then Jojo dies with Dio.
Yep.
And then that's the end of
Dio
part 1.
doesn't have a body, and he's got a dead Joestar.
To be continued.
Okay.
Thank you for the plot.
Yeah, no problem. Do we need anything else for the plot? Or I think we covered it, right?
Well, yeah, it's.
It's
You know what? I'll go over that in a minute.
It
But
is
yeah,
such a
yeah.
vague
Let's talk about
word.
the characters. I want to go over the characters. I'm riling. I'm ready to
I know.
go.
I know you
I'm
are.
ready to
Okay.
argue.
First.
I'm ready to argue.
Who's first on the
Okay,
list?
so
Let's go.
Who's first
so-
on the list?
guess what, everyone?
Is it me?
No.
Oh.
First, we're going to talk about some general characters before we get into this bit that I have planned, and it's going to be a great one. You're all going to think it's great and enduring, and it's
Cool.
going to be great.
But
It's gonna
first,
be
a word
stupid.
from our sponsors, Audible.com.
What about Crunchyroll? I thought Crunchyroll was sponsoring us this
I-
Come on,
episode.
Crunchyroll.
I
where you
butchered
at?
this bit of mine.
Hashtag it's a bit, but hashtag it doesn't have to be a bit.
Maybe one day, maybe later.
Maybe
later.
later. So the main character, Jonathan Joestar, is by far the weakest JoJo.
He's so fucking boring. He has no personality at all.
I just have him written down as he's just bland. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's the white bread, as
That's it.
someone referred to, I think, Crom as, or maybe
Oh, yeah.
like Ephraim.
Crumb is the white bread.
Yeah,
There he
Crom
is.
is the white bread husband. But like,
But-
that's what Jonathan is. He's boring.
Yeah,
he has
he
no
is boring.
personality, especially compared to like the rest of the show. This part is so bland, and the only interesting person is Dio. And that's
Okay,
because he's a huge
we'll-
jerk and he looks
We'll talk
cool.
about Dio later. Slow down.
Well-
Slow down. We need to get to Erina, the love interest. Stop.
You mean
stop her.
girl? That's
Yeah, girl.
That's her character.
That's
girl.
Welcome to her character arc, and she hates when Jonathan stabs a tree, and she's like, "What are you doing to that poor tree?" And I'm like,
I'm writing our love on this
I was
tree.
like, and then she gets embarrassed, and she's like, "Oh no, how could you do such a thing, you idiot?"
As
that's
I am a
it.
gentleman. That's literally how the dub goes. I am a
Yeah.
gentleman. Ah.
No, yeah, it's very.
It's fucking dumb.
Hey, even though you guys hate Jonathan, I think he's a
No,
wonderful
I don't
character.
hate him. I don't
I think
hate
he's
him.
wonderful.
I hate him.
But he is by far the weakest JoJo, like for real.
The only reason he was weak was because he died. There was no potential for him to grow. He just
Well,
had.
yeah,
What I'm talking about. This is
But
basically he suffers
there's
from.
nowhere for him to grow. He
had-
didn't like. He had no ambitions. All he did was, I gotta kill Dio, and that's it.
I think of this as Star Wars Episode 4,
He
right?
didn't even succeed at his one thing.
Yeah, he fucked it up.
What
God
do you-
damn it, Jonathan, you suck. Okay, I just have one other character that I want to get to before we do the big old.
There's a couple
skit.
other characters like the Zeppeli and Speedwagon. So go
No,
ahead. I know
no,
you are
no.
absolutely just ready to suck Speedwagon's dick all
No,
night.
I
so
have.
please go.
I want to talk about Ton Petty for a second.
Ooh.
He's the dumbest character in
He's
the
running
series.
down a dream.
He's. This is, since we haven't talked about it yet, this is the epitome of every character naming. They name the characters after different artists or like songs from classic rock at the time that this was being written. And fucking Ton Petty, Ton Petty.
Petty. Yeah.
So not Tom Petty because we can't do that. But
Space
Ton
Sewer Bunsen.
Petty.
and then like our obviously Robert E.O. Speedwagon
Yeah.
is REO
And then
Speedwagon. Dio,
Dio,
like
Dio.
holy dive.
Yeah, and then like
And then
yeah.
in like
A couple
later
of-
parts there's like Red Hot Chili Pepper and like Metallica.
There's fucking Green Day.
We have
Just
Vanilla.
Green
There's one that's
Day.
literally
We have
Metallica.
Vanilla Ice.
There's
Yeah, Vanilla Ice. That's a good
there's
one.
Steely Dan. He's a good one.
Yeah.
Apparently
Okay, so-
there was Notorious
The
B.I.G.
Oingo Boingo Brothers.
Oh yeah, there's Notorious B.I.G.
That one really
love
surprised me. I was like, what is
Yeah.
going on here?
That's in one of the later chapters. Don't worry about it. So
I'm worried.
we're about to get to the best part of this podcast by far.
I didn't even get to gush about my girl.
Yeah,
Guess
we
what?
didn't get to talk
We're
about
gonna
Zeppeli.
Guess what?
Oh, we're doing the bit.
Welcome to the first episode of Who's the Best Grill, the part of the podcast where each contestant puts forward their choice of best grill in the particular anime of the episode to duke it out for the title of Best Grill. Our today's contestants are Pino, Garb, and myself.
Hi.
So can you each tell me who you're advocating for?
Yes. But I'll go last.
Okay, my
Okay.
vote is Dio because the only other character, the only girl in the fucking show has zero personality. So I vote Dio. What? I'm sticking to my guns. What's her
My-
name? Irene? I don't even remember.
Arena.
I don't care.
Arena Pendleton.
Eileen? I don't care.
Dude, come on, Eileen. I love Dexter's Midnight Runners. Anyway, I chose Robert E.O. Speedwagon because I'll tell you about him later because we're going to tell you our person first.
And I
How about you,
chose
Pino?
the one and only William Antonio Zeppeli.
What a salty choice that is.
Dude, I
So,
can taste the tears.
So, this part of the show essentially is that one person puts forward their grill, and they tell us how shitty they are, and then we tell them that they are shit, and then we do it for the other two people. So, Garb, would you like to start off first?
Yes, I absolutely would.
Go
Because
for it.
I've got, you know what, Zeppeli, he's actually got like a decent thing here, but Dio is actually cool and has a personality and is an interesting character, unlike 90% of the characters.
You mean
part one.
Dio, the Jack the Ripper, dummy? Damn it, I got it wrong.
Come on,
if you're
almost
gonna
there. Keep
come
trying
on,
it.
hit me harder.
Look.
Hit me harder. I'm ready.
Hit him.
Look, we only like Dio because he's a jerk, right? That's basically it.
Because he's cool.
If he wasn't
Because
a
we
jerk,
all want
Whoa.
to be him on some level.
Isn't that just a flaw in our society that we want to be the villain? I don't think
oh no.
it's not even in this part.
I don't care.
God.
I don't give a shit.
But I don't think Dio's that great of a character. He's just an asshole, and he says
Excuse me?
"Wee" a lot.
I think a lot of the things
Excuse me?
a lot of things could have been avoided if Dio just changed his mind, you know? Like,
Yeah, if
you
Dio
don't
didn't
have to kill George. You're already living in his house. You're already
Yeah.
the favorite son. You already
Yeah,
killed
but he wanted
Jojo's
power.
dog.
Yeah,
what
it's
more could
true.
you want?
The dog was just the tip of the iceberg.
God,
That was
it
the cherry on
though.
top, my friend. He
Yeah.
ate the cherry first.
No, I thought I thought the cherry on the top was this weird fucking gross ass human dog that he has for like a minute and then fucking slaughters it. That was
Thank God he slaughters it because that thing.
God, that thing is actually just gross. But I don't know. Dio's just an for me, especially.
Yeah, but
in
he
this
actually does stuff in other parts and is interesting.
We're talking about
Unlike
this part.
Speedwagon.
We're talking about
Excuse me,
part
Speedwagon.
one.
Oh, Speedwagon.
Hold on.
Hold up.
Oh, yeah, the
Fucking
Speedwagon Foundation.
Sit the fuck
Yeah,
down. Sit
Speedwagon
down.
Foundation.
Let's go back to Dio real
Speedwagon.
quick.
Speedwagon
yeah.
Foundation is just a
Shut up. Pino's
Deus
trying to
Ex
speak.
for later parts.
God, shut up.
So, here's my counter to everything you said about Dio. If Jonathan was meant to be basically Dio's opposite, then Dio, in my opinion, is actually basically the same kind of boring that Jonathan is to you guys. Because I personally enjoy both, but they're basically just they're the opposite of each other. They're just
foils.
opposite. And like
That's how you write characters. They're just different.
but they're a little like too far off their spectrum. Like, yes,
Yeah,
Dio
they're-
gains personality later. Right now, he's just like an edgy
He's evil
teen.
boy.
He's just an
Yeah.
edgy teen who is like, oh, I hate life.
He's the
He's
the
making
Shadow
OCs.
the Hedgehog of.
He's like
He's the Sonic the Hedgehog of JoJo.
Yeah, basically.
he is, and that's why I like him because Shadow's
God.
easily the best character in Sonic
No.
2.
It's Knuckles.
What
Come
about
on.
Big the Cat?
Oh.
Froggy.
Yeah, fucking.
Froggy.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're getting
no.
we're getting a. Oh no.
no.
Okay.
Oh no.
So, we've shut down fucking Dio because
Yeah, Dio's trash until part
What-
You're
3.
wrong.
what the best character, the best grill for this part is by far Robert E.O. Speedwagon, and let me tell you about him. Speedwagon is the perfect grill. He has a strong exterior, but he's totally a softie when
You
it
have
comes.
all of this written down, don't you?
Hell yes, I did. I did my fucking research.
I would need some water for this.
And he gives narration through over half of the actual show, and he's kind of the insert for the actual audience, so you can relate to him on a great deal because he's like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, he grounds the entire show,
For
That's
example.
actually a good point. I never thought of it like that.
and he's street smart, so he knows where the fuck to go. He's not gonna get fucking mugged.
All he ever does is scream and run away. What are you talking
No,
about?
she's-
Street smart.
And
Even Speedwagon's afraid.
but yeah, but like he has to have a soft side, and he's like, and guess what? His hair's fucking gorgeous.
I like
Let me
his
tell
hair.
you, his fucking flowing blonde locks. You can't like make that shit up. That is perfect. And his hat turns into fucking blades and a
There you go.
boomerang.
That is pretty cool, and that is
Wizard.
straight up in Super Mario Odyssey.
No,
Yeah,
I
Like
agree.
the
yeah,
first
I
thing
can't-
whenever I saw the trailer was like,
I was
that
like,
is
is
Speedwagon.
that's Speedwagon, dude.
That's where
God,
you're
I
wrong,
can't-
kiddos.
Dude, that's a JoJo reference right there. So is anyone
God.
gonna hit me? And that's part 2. So I'll talk about the Speedwagon Foundation later.
So
Well, I
personally,
think the Speedwagon Foundation is a good thing to point out, but are
Yeah.
you go
Okay,
ahead,
so
Pino, if you have a thought.
Do you want me to talk about the Speedwagon Foundation then?
Not
for a
just
I
second?
want to
yet.
hear what Pino has to say.
Okay, go Pino.
So Speedwagon,
Yes.
like the first time I saw him, I'm like, I like this guy, you know, and I agree with everything
Everyone
Chuck said.
does.
He's basically
Yes.
just like everybody's like, he's just the human in this show. He's just like enjoying the ride or not enjoying the ride at times, obviously.
Like me.
Yeah, he's like that best friend you have that kind of has your back, and then like he gets hit, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna just sit this one out, man." But like, I don't know. He doesn't do much. Like I always wanted him to do more, and that's
But
kind of
he
my
did.
problem.
He unfroze fucking Zeppeli's hand, your grill, and he fucking used his own body heat and like cut open his own arm to heat up Zeppeli's arm so he can use Hamon again. Like he did shit.
Yeah, but I wanted
He also
more.
was the first one who shot Dio.
I wanted more.
Jonathan's like, oh, I get
Yeah,
to see my
how
brother.
much good
and he's
did
like,
shooting
fuck you,
Dio
bang.
do?
Yeah.
Guess what?
I mean,
It's-
5 other
he did
policemen
it though.
shot.
He did it,
Dio.
but
and
he shot
then
him first. He shot first, like
Greedo
Han
shot
Solo.
first.
Oh,
Greedo
shit,
shot
dude.
first, my friend.
Yeah, it's true. But it's like he just. You say he doesn't do much, but you'd be surprised.
This is
on what
me
he-
just looking at part 1. I know he does a lot more,
Yeah.
which fixes
Well,
it for me later
that's
on.
That's why I tried to keep it in part 1 too. But then Garb's like,
It's
let's talk
kind of
about.
hard to just keep it in part 1 because I think that like some of the
I'll
stuff that
just-
happens in later parts
Yeah.
is important
I'll-
because like later, like the Speedwagon Foundation is set up, and that is just a retcon in other parts whenever they want to fucking
Well, the thing is with
abandon
Speedwagon
somebody
Foundation,
and bring
I'll
them back.
just I'll explain it real quick. Speedwagon
What did you
Foundation
say
is-
about my boy Kakyoin?
That's for part 3 in 10 years. Okay. When
we're gonna take as long as David Productions is making part 5.
With part 5, god damn it. But so not Dio, but Speedwagon Foundation is essentially the foundation that Speedwagon sets up after the events of this first part, because he's like, fuck, I should probably destroy masks and shit and never make it happen like this again. And that's his entire character arc from that point onward. So he makes the Speedwagon Foundation, and it's helpful in literally parts 2 through 6, and then they retcon everything. But he's at least the foundation is at least mentioned and like used in every part. So he has an overarching connection with the rest of the series. So he has one of the biggest connections with the rest. But
you don't realize it until the end of part 1, but him existing in the show turned out to be important.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
first thing a Rocky ever thought about.
That's my boy.
So anything else do you want to sling at my boy, my best grill?
if he didn't run away and scream so much, but then again, Joseph does it too.
Yeah, so he's
and I love
going
Joseph.
with the flow.
I just like
Okay.
the cool hats he wears.
His hats are so fucking killer. His outfit
I love his
is the
character
best.
design. His character design is great.
He's
All of the
so-
character designs, except Jonathan, because he's just
Well,
boring.
Jonathan's white bread, dude.
He's white bread.
No, but
Eh.
still, I think our arguments are better. But anyway, Pino, do you want to talk about your boy?
Oh
your
boy,
grill?
time to talk about my boy, the original, the one and only, William Antonio Zeppeli.
You
I'm
have
gonna
to
say it
look
with
that
that
up, I
accent
know it.
all the time. It's because that name is wonderful. Okay, so just imagine this: you're walking down the street, some guy with a glass of wine in his hand comes up to you and says, "I see potential in you, boy."
He has a sandwich, not a glass of wine.
Hey, this picture I'm looking at, he's got a glass,
Oh,
and I look at, you know what? I see this sandwich half full.
okay.
Anyways,
Put that on a shirt.
put that on. This sandwich is half full. It is just. It's
Oh my god!
Just,
Keep going. You do realize the wine was later in the hallway scene
Yeah.
where they're doing that.
Yeah.
Oh
and
no, I know.
The
Jonathan's
exercise.
got to balance it. Go on, continue.
This is-
On the
He's
road,
50 years
he's gotta-
old?
This
the
is my
sandwich
story.
half full.
This is my
Zeppeli's
story.
50 years old. What the fuck?
I mean, he's a father, of course.
That
He
makes
left his
sense.
family, you know,
He left his family
but he
behind.
left his family on a quest
Okay.
for greatness. He knew this was gonna happen. He found
And
the
he
right.
taught someone that in 3 parts would no longer be used.
Yeah, a little
In
bit.
2
But
parts, it would be.
what
no
I like
longer
about
be used.
Zeppeli is that he is basically the Obi-Wan of this series. He's like,
Kinda is.
Yeah.
I
he
gotta
is,
find
for
this
sure.
kid. I gotta save stuff, and I gotta die.
Hey, guess what,
'Cause
guys?
guess what? This fortune teller told me I'm gonna die, so I
Hey,
better die.
Tom Petty told him that he would die, and second, if you're saying Zeppeli is the Obi-Wan of the series, we know that fucking Speedwagon's Han Solo. Like, how does that make you feel? That Speedwagon, it's motherfucking Han Solo in this goddamn series.
I'd consider it more of a Lando.
No, fucking no.
No,
Lando's
Speedwagon.
trash.
No. Han Solo dies. Spoilers,
Yeah.
guys. He dies.
Speedwagon dies.
Han
Yeah,
Solo
but
has a
he
family.
dies like peacefully.
Han Solo has a family.
Dude, Speedwagon doesn't have a family.
Mm.
Never mind. But
Rest in peace,
No,
Uncle
okay.
Phil.
okay, we're going. We're going a bit off topic here, but do you have something more to tell about Monsieur?
I just like the fact that his last name reminds me of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
that
That's
is
the
cool.
reference.
he
Oh, I
went
get
he
it.
went on a stairway to heaven.
Yeah, he went on the stairway to heaven.
Hey guys,
He went to the mothership.
He's rambling on.
yeah, he is. He's a good boy,
Uh,
dude. Is he a black dog?
ooh.
Oh,
That one
nice.
wasn't even related. I tried to at least make
I
it
know.
related.
No, I know. I just went for the one that I'm like, oh, black
That is
dog.
my favorite Led Zeppelin song, though. So
It's a
you got
great
something
song.
there.
Personally, I like the outfits that Zeppeli wears. He seems like
Zeppeli
a swaggin'
does
kind
have
of guy.
a good character design. For
Wonderful
Sure.
hat, great mustache. You know,
I'm noticing a pattern here.
Hats are good though.
his hats. Yeah, these hats. I don't know. He was like when he showed up on the screen. I was like, this man.
I
I will
don't
be
know
sad
though.
if this man is
Zeppeli-
gone.
Oops. Well, he gets
And he
cut in half.
sneezes, he falls over for no reason, drops the salt.
Well, like, see, the thing is with Zeppeli is that he just goes up and dies.
Yeah. But that's because
Come
he
on.
knew
like
he had
another character I know that does nothing.
No,
and
no.
dies.
There is a difference. I think Zeppeli's a little worse than the other one.
God.
Even
Jeez,
though
so
Zeppeli
you're-
is best grill.
Oh, and
So-
he has kids, and Zeppeli's one of his kids is in part 2.
Yeah,
Or
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
a
it's
lot of his
grandson.
kids are everywhere.
It's his grandson. Well,
Okay, it's
his
his
son
grandson.
is in part 2 too.
Yeah, but it's his grandson that plays the prominent
It's
part,
the
Caesar
main-
Zeppeli, and I like Caesar. I like Caesar.
Caesar's a good boy, but we'll go to that when we get there. So Zeppeli always, like, for me at least, he always seemed like a shoo-in. Like, even though you're like, oh man, this is weird, he just fucking met him on the side of the street. Like, that was the one thing that I, like, never sat with me. He didn't get a good introduction. He's just fucking sitting on a fence eating a sandwich. He's like, oh boy, I'm gonna punch
It's
you in the
nice
gut.
out.
That's
It's
it.
nice out. I want to eat the sandwich outside,
but,
drop
like,
some salt,
Just wear
and
this nice-
punch a dude.
And I'll punch you in the gut, and now you can lift a rock. God,
Oh my gosh.
He's just like he's a strong character, but he just like he is the Obi-Wan, but he's a very boring Obi-Wan.
What do you mean? He's eating a sandwich. When we saw Obi-Wan, he was just waving his hand saying, "Woo!" That's boring, dude. I'm just like, what are you doing?
What are you talking about?
You not
he
seen
plays
episode
Fortnite.
4?
Obi-Wan do that?
At the beginning of episode 4, when he's saving Luke from those sand people, he's like, "Woo!" and then they ran away.
God,
That's
damn
much.
it.
Yeah, that's not nearly as interesting as just eating a sandwich
eating
eating
a
a
sandwich,
sandwich.
on a white fence,
And he
Yeah,
punches
no.
the main character in the gut.
and punches a frog.
And a
Yeah,
frog.
he punches Froggy. He calls him Froggy. No, like legitimately, that's what they say.
You're
Like,
shitting
Froggy.
me. I don't
No.
remember that, but
Oh,
I believe
I'm
you.
gonna put it up on the screen right now. He's like Mr. Froggy or some bullshit. And I'm like, God damn.
I sent my hormone coursing harmlessly through Froggy.
Have you seen
stupid.
I know this show is stupid. That's why we're talking about it. But I think Speedwagon's still the best. I
No,
think he's the
Dio's
best
the
grill.
best.
No.
No.
But if you guys
Well-
want to chime in,
Dio's mysterious and cool.
If
Zeppeli is mysterious and cool. I can argue that.
Zeppeli's an idiot.
No. Dio's an idiot.
A little bit. But it's part of
Speedwagon's
his
an
charm.
idiot.
Speedwagon is
Speedwagon's an idiot.
Speedwagon's my lovable idiot, though. I love him. He's a good.
This is
boy.
actually making me like part 1 more.
See, I
even
told
see.
you, and you're gonna have to change your ranking. But so, if you want to actually talk about
Gotta watch
who
part
your
1
favorite
again.
grill is, you can email us at funkyanimePodcast@gmail.com. Let's hope we actually get that email because I haven't gotten it yet. But
We haven't been verified yet.
yeah, but we're so you can send in who your candidate for best grill is into that email, or you can just talk about the anime that we're going to be doing
remember,
about next
only
week. We
part
won't
one.
be. Yeah, we
Only
won't
part
talk about any of JoJo Part 1 next week. We're going to talk about the anime we're watching next week.
Yeah.
So
We'll announce that in a little bit.
yeah, well, yeah, it's at the end of the episode. But so if you want to join in the discussion, email us to, again, at funkyanimePodcast@gmail.com.
Dio, can you poop? Yes, next segment.
Dio, how can you poop? So, we've talked about the characters, we've talked about the plot. Let's talk about how it looks, the art and the animation department.
It's
Yes.
beautiful. I've
This-
briefly said this before that David Productions did a great job, and I'll
Oh,
stick
yeah.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
They consistently do a phenomenal job. And like I said, like a lot of people who've read the manga will say that you should
Yep.
watch the anime because the art style is a lot better.
Yeah,
You know, and that's
I
because
can-
just Araki was finding his way.
yeah, I can. Don't lose your way, Rocky. But, it's...
You picked up on that.
I know I did. I picked up on it real quick. I love Kill Kill. But see, the thing is with like the animation and art, because it's a manga originally, it's just black and white for the most part. But David Productions went all out with the changing, varying colors like palettes on each. Like if it's
And
an
they are
intense
so
scene,
pretty.
Yeah.
it fits so fucking well to
Except for the brown
style.
sky in part 4, but that's
No,
just
shit.
one little nitpick.
I love the brown sky. It makes me think of diarrhea. But it just like the different colors, like it doesn't.
They're all
seem
very
like,
vivid colors.
the colors mesh together, especially if it's
Yeah.
like a dark fight team and JoJo's hair turns like green or it turns blue sometimes. Dio turns
Yeah, I don't
yellow.
understand that, but I like it.
It's my
It looks so
favorite
nice,
part
though.
of the show. It's just I don't know. It sucks you in, kind of. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay, this part is tense right now. Like stuff's gonna happen, and I don't know what's
You
gonna
can say-
happen.
you can
But at
say
least we
shit.
look pretty groovy.
At least we look pretty good.
This show embodies groovy as
Well, yeah,
its
because
main theme.
it was written in the 80s, so like that's the entire feel of it. And like I'm gonna jump a little bit to like the animation. The fight scenes is so well choreographed and like
Oh yeah. As like someone who watches Dragon Ball Super every week and has watched all of Dragon Ball Z, like
boo.
oh my god, it's so nice watching JoJo.
No,
And,
like-
the fight scenes are good.
I can
and
agree.
all the animation's good because like the people who worked on this love JoJo.
Yeah, it's such a beloved franchise in Japan, and it's becoming so in the United States. But like Japan, for sure, it's like fucking rabid about this show and the manga. So it's just such a well thought out and well made attempt on the actual JoJo franchise, which is fucking phenomenal. And like the fight scenes, like I said before, are so well animated, choreographed, especially as they're super faithful to the actual manga.
Yeah, and
There's
that's
so
because
many-
it's so beloved.
Yeah, it's such well done that it just makes me happy. Like, because I watched the show like twice, like part 1 twice, and then I read the manga like
Oh
probably
yeah, since
6
you've read the
months ago.
manga, is there anything you want to point out about like any differences or like?
There's not, from what I can tell, there's not a huge amount of differences. There's a little bit more in the beginning of the show, like with younger Dio. There's a lot more like monologuing and his own personal like ideals that gets explained a bit more, which it does help, especially with the later parts that comes out. But it still hits without it, so I think it's fine. And like, but most of the panels that are like important get like well translated, especially like I said in the OP, where it like literally just translates different manga.
You get a pretty
pieces.
good idea of the two main characters from the opening. You
Oh,
get a
for
pretty
sure.
good idea. You can
Pretty
understand just from watching that Jonathan's the hero, purple guy's the hero, yellow hair guy's bad guy.
Yeah.
You can pick that up pretty easily.
And like it's so good. It makes me happy, you know. It's bueno.
Buenos dias, Brandy.
I knew
Nani?
it. I knew it. I didn't want to be the one.
I was hesitant. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I heard you trying to like lead up to it, and I'm like, and you're like,
You guys were quiet. You stayed quiet. You're like, is he gonna do it?
yeah, I
Is
was,
this really,
waiting.
is this really gonna happen? Oh, good lord.
And it
And
did.
But yeah,
then-
it looks beautiful. Do you have any thoughts, Pino? You've been a little quiet on that front. You're a One Piece fan, so
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
well, he
basically...
watches trash anime anyway, so
Ooh, at least I don't like Kenmo friends, Garb.
I don't like it.
Yes, you do.
I love how I was the one who roasted Pino, and Pino brings the roaster right back to fucking Garb.
I'm gonna
Oh,
make
that's
you guys
great.
watch that, and we're gonna do
There's-
an episode on that. And
I know
can't
you
wait.
already have it. I'm
There's
just gonna
3 of
kill
us, man.
myself.
I gotta roast one of you, and I went on autopilot. My rage. No, but basically, on the same boat as Garb, since I watch One Piece and it's made by Toei, same people who make Dragon Ball. I'm used to not as good animations.
Yeah.
So when I was watching JoJo, I was like, "Oh man, is this what I'm missing out on? Is this what
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
good
this is what
animation
anime
is?"
is supposed to look like.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel
Like,
like I've
it-
been robbed of my money that I don't use.
Yeah.
Because I'm
But,
a
like,
pirate
It's no. Shh.
Just like
from
Luffy.
One Piece.
Just like Luffy.
Oh, he brought it back.
Good job.
Thanks. I'm gonna go find my noose.
Me too. Thanks.
Me too.
But
But-
and one thing I'm gonna transition real fast that I want to point out that like about the animation is that it's different for all the parts. Like all the
Yeah.
color palettes and all that is different because each part has a different tone. Like part 3 is like in a desert and like there's more of an adventure feel.
Yeah.
And part 2 is
Adventure Field?
It's a ticking time. It's part 2's a more of a ticking time. Like, it's more pressure. It's a very stressful
pressure.
kind of feel that you.
and it's just all over the place.
It's
in
so.
part 2. It's
and
great.
then part 2's great, and then part 4 is a very laid back but bright color scheme, which is
yeah.
so
And
good.
like whenever part 5 gets released, eventually, like
Oh,
you know, because
it's-
that's like a mafia thing.
Yes.
you
Yep,
know, like
it's-
gangsters and stuff, and so that's gonna have like a whole different tone, and like all the openings reflect on
I'm
that.
I
so
am the
excited
Mafia.
for fucking Sex Pistols. Such a good stand. Anyway, I think we talked about most of the animation and stuff, right? Do you want to talk about any more of that, or do you want to head on to the next?
Nah, I think that was about
The
all I had to
I
say.
want one
Unless
last
you have
thing.
something by now.
Even though we
Go for
talked
it,
about
boy.
it before, 3D animations for the opening, just perfection.
And there's
Phenomenal.
a misconception that they ripped those from some of the JoJo video games. They did not. They
No.
made those
Nope.
models
Yep,
and
straight
textured
up.
them.
And they look very nice.
Yes.
I'm actually going to try. I want to get one of the JoJo video games.
Guess what? You can.
I've played one,
Get
and
them
it's
online.
pretty fun. I played one of the ones on PS4 at one of my friend's house when I flew up to Missouri.
Oh yeah, I know.
Shout
I
outs
know
to
what-
Ethan.
Apparently,
Is Ethan?
both are actually on PlayStation 3, so I might get both or one of them.
Yeah.
But then I'll be
Okay,
heavily spoiled on who this other Josuke is.
Well,
Spoilers.
that's why you have to fucking read the manga like I did, because I couldn't get enough
I
of
will
JoJo.
eventually.
If it,
Maybe we'll eventually do like chapter
Manga
reviews
book
or
club.
something.
God, I don't want
I'm
to
gonna-
become
I'm gonna wait
like,
one
a weekly
month.
chapter boy. I'll do like
If
a
it-
volume review.
if it doesn't come out
That's a
in a
good
month,
idea.
I'm gonna read.
Okay.
I
it
give- I
will
give
not.
hope.
I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Or if there's
Because
no
they just-
announcement,
It's not.
if there's no
They just
announcement,
They just
a
released an OVA. They're not going to announce that it's like coming
Yeah,
out.
and it's
this
just
fall.
Rohan.
Ah,
Just
come
Rohan
on.
OVA.
God,
That's why there's like so many
fucking
memes
Rohan.
about it, because people want Part 5.
I like Rohan, but
I like
we're getting
Rohan
off
too, but I
topic.
don't need a fucking OVA about him.
Well, it was a one shot manga, but anyway, let's go into the feel and atmosphere real quick, just because this part is world building. Like that is the main focus.
And that
For-
is what Part 1 does well, is that it sets up the show very well for like other parts to have all this wacky adventure.
until part 6.
Yeah.
God.
But then again, they retcon Hamon with stands, so I
Yeah.
mean, they've been retconning shit from the beginning.
Well, yeah, they fucking. It's so stupid. It
Fuck
makes
you,
me
Rocky.
Yeah. So like the
No, I
Fuck you,
love you,
Toriyama.
Fuck you, Rocky, but I love you, Rocky.
the retcon things is what was that made me kind of not wanting to continue after part 2.
Yeah, you
Oh,
were
and then-
really hesitant on
Yeah.
getting into Part 3 and
Because-
like with the stands.
Yeah, personally, Hamon I thought was a cool idea that could have been experimented with a lot more. And then when I heard stands, I'm like, oh no, this is like
What?
all those other
Enemy
shows.
stand?
I was thinking like, oh, so this is like as Yu-Gi-Oh when you summon them like fake monsters out, and you're like, oh, I can see your projection, and they don't really do much.
Yeah.
Like I was not sure what to expect, but surprisingly, I enjoy stands because they
I
don't
think
talk.
I was bored of Hamon pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the spectrum just because I think they did everything they could with Hamon. Like they covered all like the basic vampire shit and all that with the first part, and then the second part.
Yeah, they got
do
rid of the
more.
vampires pretty quick.
Yeah,
I
but
miss
like
the vampires.
same themist, but it's just like I think they did enough. I think Araki just like, yeah, let's not do this anymore, which I respect,
Like-
but it
Imagine Part 3 as it was, but with Hamon instead of stands. Like Part
God,
3 would be
fuck
very
that.
boring.
I would
it would be
hate it.
very. It'd be Part 1, but worse.
I
Like,
guess.
even more
Yeah.
boring.
Okay, that's a
Like
good
that's
point.
what makes. Yeah,
and
exactly.
and like the atmosphere around this first part is like really nice because it's more of an old feel, like a it's
Yeah,
it's-
I like
it's
all
set
of
in
the, like-
it's set in the 19th century England,
Yeah.
so it's a lot of nice set pieces, very rustic.
Which is unique. Not a lot of anime.
Yeah,
like,
not a lot
are
of
set in
anime
that time.
hits that.
It's kind of
back-
like how Fire Emblem was like made for.
Will
But you know
episode
how
0
Fire
always
Emblem-
haunt us?
You know how like Fire Emblem was cool because it's a strategy game that wasn't like guns and stuff. You know, it was swords and stuff. And so I feel like JoJo, it's a similar thing there to where like it's not the normal setting.
Yeah.
It's not like in a high school. You know, like every other.
I
fucking
mean,
anime.
well, but he did go to high school.
No, they just kind of left, and
They
Kakyoin didn't
played
even call his
rugby.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they
it's
played rugby.
but that's like the atmosphere is really nice and unique to JoJo, and it has all that weird kind of history vibe, but also it's that weird
Yeah.
fantasy itch that you always have with anime, and you're just like, this is good.
This is a good.
I feel like the first couple episodes are kind of a clusterfuck because I feel like
Oh yeah,
it feels like you're missing out on something. Like even rewatching it, it still feels
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this plot is
well,
a clusterfuck,
I think
and like everything
I
is.
think the reason why that is because when Araki was making the manga itself, especially those first like 5 issues, those 5 chapters, you need to get that shit in to readers and got to keep it popular because if not, that thing's cut. So that's
Yeah.
I feel that it's just a product of what he had to do to
That's a
get
good
people
point.
in. So I don't mark it off for that. I do acknowledge the flaw, but you can't mark it just because that's how he had to do it, unless it would have been cut.
Overall, it sets up such a good story for like later parts that I can't complain about it too much. As much as I complain about how bad part 1 is, like it does have a couple redeeming qualities.
I'm glad.
And that it does kind of like lead you into the craziness, because like part 2 is like fucking crazy. It is really a bizarre adventure. But part 1 isn't so much bizarre as it is like a setup for bizarre adventures to come.
I think of it as like a fantasy murder mystery kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
And then your typical shonen.
Yeah, sure. Well, but the thing is, it's good. It's a good one.
It's a goodie.
This is like one of the original shonen animes, though. Like this is, well, not animes, the mangas.
Yeah.
And it's just good.
Yeah.
It makes me happy.
Me too.
I'm glad Jojo exists. Thank you, Araki.
Thank you, Araki. God, we are retarded. But we're just so stupid. But can you stop?
Oh, I'm sorry. I blame the lag.
Me too. So do you guys have anything else you want to talk about, like overall? Do you want to talk about like?
I'm sure in like an hour, whenever we're done recording this, I'm gonna think of something and I'm gonna be really mad I didn't say it.
We're gonna be angry.
What was
I can put it out in like the comments of the video or something.
We'll be
if I really feel that passionate.
Yeah, like
about hating part 1
It
more.
was
excuse me.
Like I think I want to
Motherfucker.
stop fighting. I just want to touch on this one more time. That like yes, this is by far the weakest JoJo.
Yeah, for sure.
Like part by far, but
it feels so tame.
Okay, shut up. First off, I'm not. The point that I was gonna make was it's not bad. It's good, but it's the weakest.
Yeah,
And
it's also one of the shortest.
It's
It's
true.
the shortest.
That's true. It's over pretty quick.
And I feel like if there was a
9
little more time, it could either have gone both ways. It could have been great, or it could have been really bad.
But something interesting to point out is that I almost didn't like JoJo and like didn't bother watching because like part 1, like I didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
like,
a bit of
interesting.
backstory. I watched JoJo first. I got sucked in from episode 1, so Araki did his best with that manga. But I made these two fools watch JoJo. I pushed it on them and fucking made them watch it.
Luckily, it was around
You're
the time.
that guy.
It was luckily around the time when it was dubbed on Toonami. So I was like, I'll take my sweet time with this. It was one episode every week. And then I believe around the beginning of part 2 was when we decided, when Garb decided to get a crack at it. And then eventually he surpassed me in watching all of JoJo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dub takes forever, and I'm a subtitled purist.
Yeah, I watched both. And
this is perfect for the miscellaneous.
This is a good thing.
Is the dub.
Both are very good, but the dub is the most ridiculous thing for JoJo, but it's so good. Fucking Dio sounds like James from Pokemon. He's like, I
pointed that out to you.
Dio.
On the record.
I know you did, but I can make the voice better. And he's like, it was I, James. And it's
Jesse.
Jesse.
Team Vampires blasting off again.
But it's so bizarre because it's... Haha, funny joke. But it's like all shitty English accents.
There's just clearly Americans.
It's so good, though.
Terrible British.
So good.
They could have just hired actually English people.
No.
It
well,
makes it
they
better.
did do that with video games, I guess.
Yeah, they did it before the dubs existed, but it works. It works.
It works. It works really well. You don't understand.
It works so well. You need to give it a shot.
For the memes, it's pretty good. For the memes.
The show is called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
As a show, it's
the show is
good.
called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The dubs just make it even more bizarre.
Yeah, it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, not JoJo's shitty dub adventure.
Hey man, some of us just don't have, the voice that we want.
The ability to read.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir. I am a gentleman.
I'm illiterate.
Whenever I see a damsel in distress, I must fight for her honor.
Mm-hmm. I'll even throw away my little towelly.
Let's see if this doll has all the lady bits under it. Yeah. That's how the dub sounds, and it's fucking phenomenal. And you can't tell me
I can
otherwise.
even lift
Oi,
this rock.
Dio, he's doing
lifting.
it.
Oh, Dio. The trouble I'd get into if I were half as bold as Dio. Have you and Jojo kissed yet? You thought your first kiss would be with Jojo, but it was I, Dio.
I'll be honest,
There
Speedwagon
it is.
sold the show to me. Mostly because his English voice is the best.
His English
I
voice
can't
is
believe it.
fucking phenomenal. I can't.
You there, son.
He hit me, but he's a gentleman. I will not let you lay a finger on him.
You will not tell you. What is your name? The name of the one who showed me mercy. I am Jonathan Joestar.
Oh, are my friends okay too? Oh, they are. He is a true gentleman.
Oh, God.
God, I love Speedwagon so much.
Oops, I mean, I love Zeppeli.
Yeah, but
Plot twist.
I think that's, like, is there anything else you want to talk about? Like, we talked about a bunch of the stupid names. Talked about
I want to talk about the music, of the show.
yeah.
The music of the show actually probably doesn't stick with me the most because, I feel like it has the weakest music, at least in my
For
opinion.
sure.
None of it
it
is
doesn't
memorable.
have it doesn't have the battle music the part 3s does.
Oh god, or the part 4 battle music, or
Yeah.
the thing with this first part, it's a very subdued vibe because it's
very tame.
it's a very it's the tamest JoJo by far, even though there's fucking chopping a dude in half and curb stomping a dog, lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
But it's the soundtrack fits the more mild vibe. It's a very
Except
and
the
it
opening
fits
is just in your face.
well,
and
yeah,
it's so good.
that's why you're like, oh my god, this is gonna be great, and then it's very subdued. There's more pianos and shit like that because it's in the 1800s, so it fits the time period more. So, and it's very nice.
And part 4, they have a lot more electronic music because it's set in the 90s.
Yeah, part 3, part 4 has a lot more alternative vibes that I get from it sometimes. The more punk
Chase.
vibes.
Chase is very trying to be 90s,
Yeah.
and I love
And then
Chase. I know
Chase
a lot
is
of people shit on Chase, but Chase is great. You shut your fucking mouth.
You know what? The best song in part 4 is Morio Cho.
Cook
Good
your eggs,
morning.
cut your... Good morning, Mario. That's so good.
God,
but-
Koichi's so hot.
God, oh boy.
No.
Okay,
No.
link to that video right on the top right hander in that
Which
little
one?
card thing.
Koichi Vor or the Morio Cho
Koichi
radio?
Vor.
Both.
Oh God, what have I?
All of them.
What have
Every
I signed
video.
up for?
God, I'm
Every fucking shitty
You-
JoJo shitpost meme.
You didn't, Pino. I'm the one who has to do all this shit. You're not posting any of this. You can't.
You're right. You know what? Okay, add a picture of a bear for me right now.
Fuck.
And now have this bear.
What kind of bear?
Just a teddy bear. Any teddy bear. And now just make Jotaro's hat just fade out, right on him.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's all I want.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay.
God damn it. This is gonna be great for all the audio listeners, no less.
You're
though, if
lucky.
we ever get this.
You're lucky I didn't tell you to make it spin around. Don't make it spin
God,
around.
shit.
Don't do it.
It's spun around.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
It's spinning
no.
faster.
Oh no.
What have we
He
done?
flew up the screen. He built up too much speed. He's in a parallel universe.
He's in a
no.
different QPU.
Wait, I know. Wait, we'll use the world. So well done.
God, I will have to edit that, won't I? I'm not gonna edit that.
No, you
just
can
gonna
do what the
change-
continue show does and says screw off, and then it's just literally just text that says screw you, Paul, and then they just
Yeah, true.
go on to the next
That's
one.
that's probably gonna be what I'm just gonna just write the world on the screen, and then that'll be it. But
Wonderful.
So,
Amazing.
do you want to talk about anything, Garb? Have you?
No. No, I can't think of anything else. I've pretty well articulated a lot of the stuff, the main points I had to say.
Okay. So Pino, you're all good too?
Yeah, just about.
I'm ready to go on to the ranking for the ironic and unironic.
Yeah. So the way that we're gonna be ranking these shows on our on this podcast is it's gonna be a scale of -5 to 5. The farther negative it is, the more ironic it is, ironically good. So if you put fucking
So
Initial
the
D,
room
initial D
yeah.
will be fucking like -4 because it's like -4 and then like 2.
But then like something like No Game No Life is like a 4 or 5.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
because it's
yeah.
like good, but not like ironically good. Not like The Room where it's a perfect -5 out of -5.
Yeah, well, see, the thing, like, we can, if we feel like it, we can give, like, both the ironic and unironic ranking, or just one ranking on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, if it hits 0, it has no redeeming qualities. Why did you make us watch this? Fuck you, I hate you. That's the canon rank for 0.
Cool. I'm
So-
glad we've explained that. We should probably just like get a way to explain all of these for optimization for next time.
Quick, put it on the
I'll
screen.
figure it out. God fuck it.
Figure it out as we go along.
Okay, so who wants to go first?
I'll go
Go
first.
Pino.
All
Go
right.
Pino.
So, I guess the ironic scale, right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
give this a Joe star out of 5. Okay, fine. I'll give it a Zeppeli out of 5, mostly because Zeppeli's the best girl.
God.
But the unironic, you know what? I'm gonna give this a 3.5.
Okay.
You know what?
I'll
Because
see.
you know, it's wonderful. I personally love it. I do know that it
Me
has
too.
flaws. It's a little too short for my liking. But you
This
know,
is the guy who watches One Piece.
I like
it's-
short shows too, my friends. But you know, music wasn't there. The animations were on
Except
point.
roundabout.
You know, the characters were, some of them were meh at best. But other than that, you know, 3.5.
I'll
That's
go
pretty
next, I guess. So for the ironic scale, I give it a Speedwagon out of 5.
Ooh.
So it's a pretty good ranking because it was a lot of goofy shit, and I like all the memes that spawn from it. Especially, I can even lift this rock. That's a pretty.
We quote that
bueno
a
one.
lot.
And then also it was IDEO. There's the to be continued meme. Like, it has a lot of irony that like probably
A
wasn't
lot of
as
good memes
intentional.
came out of it.
It's really good. And then for the unironic, I give it a 4 out of 5, which I know that
Wow.
some will take offense to.
I'm not
But-
offended at all.
Thank you. But it takes such a good, like for me at least, it takes such a good manga and displays it perfectly onto what you wanted it as an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And you also just are able to observe this world, and it sets up the world, and it does a brilliant job at that. The time period, especially as it's so different than normal from anime, it's so unique that you're like, damn, dude, this is nice. And it just
Groovy.
It's a good
Yes.
change of pace from a lot
Yeah.
of other shows.
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of not great things about it, but it doesn't take it down as much as probably Garb will be saying. But
Mhm.
it for me, I like it a whole lot. It works.
On the unironic scale, when considering that it set up everything so well with like the Speedwagon Foundation and like the Joestar bloodline and the
Oh, wait.
Joestar
I'll
Dio
do it
bloodline.
later. I'll talk about it later.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I
No,
thought you were done.
no. I just thought of something. Like,
Oh,
immediately.
okay. But
So
on
we
the
can talk-
unironic, considering everything it did for the rest of the show, I give it a 3.5.
Ooh.
But
That's a
if
bit
it was
high.
just part one on
standalone?
its own, it
Nani?
would be like 2.
For me, it would be a 2.5 if it was a standalone, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be a
And,
5 if it was
for
a
the
standalone
dub,
for me. Ironically
for
and
like
unironically.
the dub, it's like a -4.
No, the
like,
dub,
it's,
the dub hits for sure.
Don't
I like
knock
it.
it
yeah,
till you
it's like
try
on
it.
the ironic scale, it's great, like -4. Because the
Like-
voices are terrible, they're horrible.
It's so good.
It's great. It's a
It's
good
so
time.
It's a jolly old
I've seen
time.
like clips. I haven't watched all of it.
Dude,
dubbed.
you
Time
need
to
to
post
watch
a couple on the chat.
Yeah, for
Got
real.
it.
But
I
go ahead with what you were thinking.
I thought of one thing. So, when George Joestar dies, me and Garb were talking about this the other day, and it just came
yeah.
to me because we were talking about this. Is that when George dies, Speedwagon remarks that George gave Jonathan all of his like powers and love and all that shit, and I'm like, that's like Hamon.
It's
Like
straight
that's
up
what
Hamon.
that's what Zeppeli did to Jonathan like a couple episodes later. So I think that set up the Hamon kind of arc like feel, which I never noticed until watching it recently. So
And I was curious because you've read the manga. I wanted to see if like they added that later because they
No,
knew
from-
how it went after that. But
from what I remember, I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure it was in there still. So It's
It's still an interesting thing to point out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of shows, like, they very much make them up as they go along, and, like,
For sure.
Dragon Ball is very much like that.
Well, I think JoJo, even though it is guilty of a couple things like that, it still is a pretty well thought out show and manga, as far as I could tell, except for when they reduxed everything in part 6. Fuck that.
Could
It
I
makes me
compare
sad.
this to Sonic Mania in that you don't know what were the original levels, and it all just feels right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
JoJo is Sonic. Confirmed.
Feels good, man.
Hashtag JoJo is Sonic.
Hashtag give me that.
Dio is Shadow.
Give me some of that fanfic right now.
Give me fanfic or fan art.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
yes.
No.
No. Okay. So I think that about does it.
So what are we doing on the next one, Chuck?
Well, first,
What do you
I
have
wanna-
on the
I
chopping
wanna-
block for
I
us?
wanna-
Because
I wanna-
you picked this next one.
Oh shit, I did. I
Oh,
remember.
mm.
I remember what I picked.
Oh no.
So, what we're gonna be watching for the second episode of the Funky Anime Podcast, the FAP cast, is Golden Boy.
Oh boy.
But I'm making everyone here watch both the dubbed and the subbed.
Oh,
they have to
boy.
watch both.
I've never seen Golden Boy, so between the
Well-
recording of this and, like, doing the podcast on that next, which
Yeah,
will be, like,
I-
post Hurricane Irma for me, so,
Yeah,
like, who knows
rip,
when
dude.
that'll be.
Uh,
But
a little background on Golden Boy. I watched it first, and I told these two to watch it. Pino watched it, enjoyed it.
So educational.
How would you? I love computers. Anyway, we're gonna be watching Golden Boy next time, both subbed and dubbed. If you want to watch both, you can. They're both a
or
great
maybe
time.
maybe that episode will convince you to watch it.
Garb, you have to watch it dubbed.
I will.
Guess what?
Whatever.
I'm making them watch both.
Whatever, man.
Anyway, thank you everyone for staying till the end, or just skipping to the end, so you can find out who the best grill can be from Golden Boy. So you can email us
Who
at
is the goldenest of all the boys?
at funkyanimetopodcast@gmail.com.
Mm.
And so
pretty good.
you can you can email us about best girl. You can email us about whatever the fuck you want. Really, I'll read through it and hate my life for giving out an email. But I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for sticking around and being a good old
Hopefully, we'll go
boy.
on a show that I really enjoyed eventually, and I won't just be fucking constantly negative.
Well, you're gonna not be negative next week. Anyway,
Yeah, you'll probably enjoy it.
yeah.
I do
Pino-
like shitty, like, short shows.
Oh, it's
'Cause, like,
super
Kill la
short.
Kill is
It's
like my
short.
favorite.
No, it's way shorter than Kill Kill.
Okay, because like I like the short shows. Just
Yeah,
like that's just
me
me.
too.
So
I got you.
I may
Okay,
enjoy
Pino,
it.
do you
We'll
have
see.
where can
We'll
they
see.
find you, and can you say goodbye for yourself?
Well, they can find me. They can find me. They can find me in the stars.
Okay.
The Joe
where
stars.
can
thinking
they-
about how the
And the Joe
sandwich is
stars-
half full.
Thinking about how the sandwich is half full. How Led Zeppeli is my favorite Zeppeli of all time.
Ooh, that's actually a pretty big statement. But continue.
And yeah, just you know what? I'm gonna leave you off with this. Let the joys of love take you higher.
Take you higher.
Michael
Okay.
Scott.
Garb, do you have anything to say goodbye? And where can they find you?
I hate anime.
Okay.
If anime was a mistake.
It was an insult to life itself.
But if anime was a
I'm
mistake, JoJo was
I'm
not.
I'm on Twitter, I guess. It's just at GarbleX.
Okay.
I don't stream a whole lot, but that's Twitch too.
Hey, you'll be streaming
And I have a
this
YouTube
week.
channel that I fucking hardly ever use.
And hey, guess what? It's me again. It's Chuck. You can
Your
find
boy.
me. You can find
Your
me
boy.
on Twitter and Twitch
And Tinder.
as Upchuck Gaming. Maybe Tinder. Ladies. And then we what is it? Oh, and then you can find me on YouTube as Upchucked. Look it up. Scroll past all the dictionary terms, and you'll find my YouTube channel on Google. I've looked it up before. That's how it goes. And that's about it.
It's a good marketing tool.
Thank you for sitting in on the first episode of the Funky Anime Podcast. And remember
We'll see you next time.
stay fapping.
And don't
Stay fat,
forget,
my friends.
let's all say goodbye in the same way that I want you to say goodbye. Goodbye,
Jojo.
Goodbye, Jojo.
We'll see you next
Stay
time.
fapping, my friends. Bye bye.